So the last thing we discussed that in Shariat, when figures are given, then these words are khas. You have to practice upon the khas of it. You can't give your own figures. And now the next masah we're going to do here is very, very important and very relevant. وما ترى المرأة من الحمرة والصفرة والقدرة حيض حتى ترى البياض خالصا. And what the woman sees from the red, from the yellow, from the brown, is haze until she sees pure white. This masla has many angles that can be discussed, but literally translates whatever a woman sees from the color, that will be haze. Now, one angle I want to focus on particularly, you see normally now when a woman's bleeding, right? Then blood doesn't just stop immediately. Like, 1 minute is bleeding, and in next minute she's not bleeding. What happens is the color gets lighter, 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 right? So sometimes, women also have a clear discharge. It's like almost like snot type of a thing that comes out of your nose, like it's like a snot like that. You saw it in time, you never see it. You saw it, never saw it in time. So what happens is, so sometimes when the discharge comes out and the color gets lighter, 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 right? So now the women think now it's not red anymore, right? So now this is not haze. So even though it got like a light color, they think now they must start reading Salah. They think they must read Salah. But no, there's a clear hadith where Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala said, I think it comes in the text also, that you only consider yourself clean until the pad comes back 100% white. So yes, if there's a discharge which is 100% white, which is 100% white, and on the white page you don't see any color at all, now you're considered clean. There's another important masla I want to discuss with you people also. It's not directly narrated to the highest masla, but there was a misconception about the discharge. She must remind me before we wrap up like how in the previous bab, when we discussed about the sock, there's an important fatwa I want to share with you. Here also there's an important fatwa. We're not speaking about the haid, but we're speaking about general discharge that the woman experience. There's three different types of discharge that comes out. Which one will consider the wudu invalid and which will consider the wudu invalid? It doesn't mean every discharge that comes out of a woman's private part in renders the wudu invalid. Sometimes a clear, thin, viscous discharge comes out, odorless. Now, all the years the ladies used to think that any type of discharge that comes out from the front organ, it renders the wudu, it nullifies the wudu. But that's not true. That's not correct. You do this. I want to share this with you. It's a very important fatwa. I remember when Iftar we done this fatwa. So this masla I want to share with you is inshallah the important masla that if it's a clear, colorless, odorless discharge that comes from a woman's front portion, it will not render the wudu, nullify the wudu. But anyway, that's totally separate to this here. But this masla what I want to say is, so if there is still a color discharge, even if it is not the normal discharge that the woman is experiencing, so long it is color. Now, normally when the discharge touches the pad, even sometimes when it just come out, it looks like it's colorless. But when it dries up, now you see the color. So this is the punchline. Now, the main thing. Only when a woman considers, or rather, only when the pad is 100% clear. حتى ترى البياض خالصا. So as she's finishing off her eyes, there's still traces of blood there's dots of blood, there's specks of blood, and it's within 10 days, she will still be considered to be bleeding. You understood that? He will still be, yes, only when the parents clean. See them. وَمَا تَرَى الْمَرْأَةُ, and that which the woman sees, مِنَ الْحُمْرَةِ, from the redness, وَالصُّفْرَةِ, and from the yellowness, وَالْقُدْرَةِ, and from the brownness, right? حَتَّى تَرَى الْبَيَاضَ خَالِصًا, until she sees pure white, then only that will be considered, right? There's another interesting masala. Okay, the interesting, I hope this is clear, right? So you mustn't say, you can't say like this here. Look here, this, I know my flow is so thick, and I know when I'm getting my highs, and this is not highs, this is just discharge, or this is just blood coming out. So as long as there's color in your discharge, even if it's a streak of blood, that will be part of your Haidh. And if it's within the 10 days, it will be part of your Haidh. Yes, if it goes over the 10 days, then you revert to your habit. Is that clear? 100% clear. You sure? I'll read it again. Was the important masla. Many women must don't understand this one. So وما ترى المرأة من الحمرة والصفرة والقدرة حيض حتى ترى البياض خالصا. And what the woman sees from the red, from the yellow, from the brown, it is Haidh until she does not see a pure 100% white, pure white, right? Right. So, right. وقال أبو يوسف رحمه الله تعالى لا تكون قدرة من الحيض إلا بعد الدم. There's an interesting masla. Now, there's something that is not in the kitab, but I want to share it with you also. Um, just remind me, let me first explain what is in the kitab. After explaining what's in the kitab, I want to share this other masla with you, right? So, what Imam Yusuf says, لا تكون قدرة من الحيض إلا بعد الدم. What he's saying is, the other masala explained to you, which is related to this. You will see the link after this. But first, let's look. Remember, I mentioned to you several times. Your primary objective is just to understand what is being said in the kitab. That's the first step. First step is to translate the kitab. Second step is to understand what is being said, and then after that, the other things. What is saying in this context here? Again, بقى لا تكون قدرة الحيض إلا بعد الدم. See, what he's saying is, I'll explain it first and I'll put it in the kitab. If a woman starts off her haze, listen nicely, she starts off haze with brown, then that will not be haze. It will not be haze. You will wait for the red flow to start. You will have to wait for the red. So if a woman starts her haze off with brown, right? She started off, we will not consider that to be the haze. But yes, after the haze, if the blood started with red and then it turned brownish, then that brown will be part of the haze. So in simple words, haze cannot start with brown according to Imam Abu Yusuf, but it can end with brown. Are you with me? Right. سيدي وقال أبو يوسف رحمه الله لا تكون قدرة الحيض إلا بعد الدم. Imam Yusuf said brownish will not be haze except after the flow, right? Now, what is his reasoning? This is the reasoning. لأنه لو كان من الرحم لتأخر خروج القدرة عن الصافي. He's saying, listen, I see what he's saying. If he's saying this brown that comes before the haze, this is not from the womb. It is not from the place where haze normally comes. It is not from the place where this is another bleeding. He's saying this is Istihaadha. What he's saying this is not right. So he's saying, look here, if it was haze, if it was haze, it would have come after the raid. It would have come after the raid, right? So our proof, remember, as Sahih Bidayah, as Space Habit, he'll give you a dalil naqli and he'll give you a dalil aqli. What is this dalil aqli? وَلَهُمَا مَا رُوِيَ. And it is for them in the anime for Imam Muhammad and Imam Warifa. What is their proof to see every color in the days of Hayd is Hayd? What has been the narration? أن عائشة عائشة جعل السماء والبياض الخالص حيضا. She has made what is ever besides whiteness, what is pure white, she's considered to be Hayd. See there, أن عائشة جعل, she made ما سوى البياض الخالص, whatever is between, besides pure white, she made it Hayd. You understood that? So any color which is besides, any color which is besides white, she made it Hayd, right? Now, here in the Shara, it is mentioned also that the ladies, they used to, okay, the ladies, what they should do, they should actually send their pads in little tins, and they would send it to Aisha Siddiqa to get the fatwa that is this Hayd or not. And she used to give the fatwa that everything besides white is Hayd, right? And just with regards to this, I was this point of something else come to my mind that I was telling you that they should actually send the discharge or the pay on the cotton, wool, or whatever they use back then, right, etc. Right. So they used to send the discharge as I should give the fatwa, and she should give anything besides white. She says Haidh. Just on this point, I remember reading somewhere or hearing somewhere that in the past the ulama, the fuqaha, they should make so much effort to unravel these type of masail of Haidh and etc. that they would actually buy several several slave girls, and they should document their haze, record it, and to work out so they can have experience to work out all the masail of haze. So much effort our ulama have made. May Allah Ta'ala reward them. So now, here, وَهَذَا لَا يُعْرَفُ إِلَّا سَمَاعًا. Yeah, I told you before that Hidayah is not only a fiqh book. I told you Hidayah is not only a fiqh book, Hidayah is also a book of usul. And there they're teaching an important usul, that to know that everything besides white is haze. This is not something you can logically deduce. And when a Sahabi gives a fatwa on something which is not logically deductible, what does it mean? It means they heard it from Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So I'm saying, some example, if a Sahabi says Qiyamah will be a million days long, for example, and he doesn't attribute it to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Now, where do you get that? Is there something you can deduce logically? It is not something you can. So naturally, it follows that this Sahabi heard this from Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The same thing here. Even though as Aisha Siddiqa, she never say, "I heard this from Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam." But it is not something which you can logically deduce. So we will technically consider, and in technical terminology, hadith terminology, or usul al-hadith, we say it is marfu'. Marfu' means it is attributed to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is made rafa, means attributed to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So even though Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala does not attribute this to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but it's from those masail that cannot be logically deduced, hence we will consider it that she heard it from Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? Just remind me when I finish this proof against Imam against Imam Yusuf. There's something I want to explain to you also, right? وَهَذَا لَا يُعْرَفُ إِلَّا سِمَاعًا. This is something which cannot be understood except that you heard it from the Nabi, right? Now, look here, this was the proof, the naqli proof, the textual proof that the brown before Haidh, the type of Haidh is Haidh, right? So if you look at the aqli proof, the logical proof, maybe it won't make much sense to us because maybe it maybe that time, right? So I was telling you is the next proof. uh, Maybe the fuqaha explained it according to the understanding of medicine, of anatomy in that point in time. Maybe it won't make so much sense to us, but doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense. We have already got the textual proof. We already got the textual proof that everything in the time of Haidh, no matter what color it is. So, as I was telling you, even though the second explanation doesn't make sense, it doesn't make so much sense in light of modern science, etc., doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We've got the textual evidence. So what he's saying here, look here, I'll read it. وفم الرحم منكوس فيخرج الكدرة أولا كالجرة إذا ثقب أسفلها. Right, what he's saying there is this, look here. Here, first understand, then you got a bag, right? Just say you got a utensil, right? You got a utensil, right? And in a utensil, normally the mouth is on top, right? The mouth. So now, normally, uh, the pure thing, the lighter thing will be on top, and the dirt will be at the bottom, right? So now, if you pour from the top of the utensil, just let's take the example of you got a jug of olive oil, right? So now, you know what the dregs? The dregs is like, the thickness or the peels, whatever. So what will happen is, if you pour from the top first, the olive oil will come out, and then at the bottom, last, what will come out is what? Last, the thick things will come out, right? So now, this is what, so Imam Yusuf is giving the exact same proof. He's saying, look here, if the brown thing comes out first, that means it's not coming from it's not Haidh, because Haidh is blood. Yes, the you can say the straggler or the thing that come last, if it came after the pure blood, now we can say it is Haidh because the dirt is at the bottom. You understand what I'm saying? Right. See what he says. So right. So that's what Imam Yusuf says, right? But we say no. Look here. If you look at the womb of a woman, it's upside down. The mouth is at the bottom. So even though the dirt is the bottom, but if you pierce a hole at the bottom, what will come out first? The brown, the dirt will also come out first. You understand? So whether you throw it from top or rather, sorry, if you pierce it from the bottom and you make a hole at the bottom, that means the brown will come out from the bottom. So that means the brown is part of the haze also. Doesn't mean it is not part of the haze. You understood? So it can come out first. It can also be the haze. You understood that? Just just look at the games here. So what's our proof? We say wafahmur rahimi mankusun. The mouth of the womb is upside down, right? فَيَخْرُجُ الْكَدْرُ. So the brownness will come out first. Doesn't matter if the brownness is still high. It's still part of what is in the womb. They say, كَالْجَرَّةِ, like a jar or a leather bag, whatever. إِذَا ثُقِبَ أَسْفَلُهَا, when the bottom is broken, the brown will come out first. So same thing here. The brown is part of the haze, and coming out first doesn't mean it's part of those. It's still coming from the womb. Like how the brown will come out first from a jar when it is pierced or it is broken from the bottom. You understood that? I hope it's clear. You sure? Right. Now, there's another masa which is not exactly in the kitab here, but is similar to this. I want to share to you. Now, the problem is this here that many women have. So what they do, they start spotting before the haze. They start spotting before they. Now, say for instance, a woman knows. Just a simple example to understand this here. You know, every month from the 10th of August or the 10th of July, you get your haze, right? Now, what happens is, say 3 days before, 4 days before the time, you start spotting, right? She start having spots now. So from the 7th or the 8th, right? Now, if you apply the fatwa of Imam Abu Hanifa in the strictest sense of the word, here what Imam Hanifa says, anything besides white, it is haze. So strictly speaking, according to Imam Hanifa, you would haze would it stop? Agree with me. So now, what's the difficulty with this? What's the difficulty? Say, for instance, a woman bleeds. Just some example. She bleeds normally from the 10th of August till the 20th, right? Every month she has a strong flow on that, right? Now this month she started spotting on the 7th. Now, if you see there, what clearly says there, وَمَا تَرَى الْمَرَأَةُ مِنَ الْحُمْرَةِ وَالصُّفْرَةِ وَالْقُدْرَةِ حَيْضٌ. Right? Whatever she see on a pad, it is hayd. Now, if you so just look at the scenario now. Let's follow nicely. She started spotting on the 7th, and then she started a proper bleed. Normally, maybe this month she started, it was Ramadan, she had a lot of dates, or she went for Umrah, she had a lot of dates, whatever. So she started spotting on the 7th, right? Now, on the 10th, her blood came and she bled full. Now, see the difficulty here. The difficulty is this here. According to Imam Hanifa, we start the hayd on the 7th. So now, and we know the maximum of hayd is 10 days. So that means the 17th, she has to stop the hayd. Or not she stopped, she has to start reading namaz. And here she's bleeding heavily. And she's bleeding heavily because there's the opinion of Imam Hanifa, right? You see what I'm saying? So that is the fatwa of Imam Hanifa, which is applied in the strict sense of the word. And our ulama and our muftis, they've always been giving fatwa on that. They've been giving fatwa on that this has to be applied in the strict uh, this has to be applied in the strict sense of the word. But now recently I see, when I personally sent one question, a similar question to Mu'ayyaz Desai from the Majlis. So he gave fatwa here on Imam Yusuf's call. Imam Yusuf says also that the spotting that you see before your normal time, do not consider that as hayd. Now, I don't know if you, normally our ulama, they're very, very reluctant to give fatwa on a different madhab. You know, there needs to be a pressing need. But I see Hazrat Mawla gave fatwa on that. Because if you look at it, it's very difficult. So imagine the time when you are spotting, you know, the reading namaz, by the time you are bleeding heavily, that time you are reading namaz, seems a bit awkward. So this is something that the ulama need to look into. The ulama need to look into, and see, I don't know, as I said, we don't normally, we're not in a hurry to change the fatwa, but some ulama do give fatwa on that. Anyway, so I hope that is clear. So to our, so that was just similar to that. In the sense that, yeah, Imam Wan Yusuf said, although the Masa I'm discussing is the asking about spotting red before the Haidh, and yeah, the Masa and the Kitab speak about seeing brown. So I'm sure even if a woman see brown before, then maybe the ulama will give a fatwa on a similar masala. Please do not confuse what I'm saying. First, understand what is being said in the kitab, and understand what Imam Yusuf's opinion is, and understand what Imam Wanifa's opinion is, and understand what is the default fatwa. I told you the default fatwa in Taharat and is always on Imam Wanifa because Imam Wanifa is most cautious. But yes, at a time of need, and we see the author will point out where the fatwa is in a different code. And I was also surprised to see Sahib Majlis. He gave fatwa on Imam Yusuf's call, which is against the norm. But as I said, ulama need to look at it. Anyway, coming, I hope everything is clear. If there's anything unclear with regards to that, please let me know, inshallah. Don't misunderstand and don't give the wrong fatwa, etc. Right. وأما الخضرة فالصحيح أن المرأة إذا كانت من ذوات الأقراء تكون حيضا ويحمل على فساد الغذاء. So yeah, also there's something I want to share with you people that's not in the kitab that you can benefit from. See, the next masla is actually just an extension of the previous masla. Remember, we told you in the previous masla, any color a woman see, that is Haidh, especially when it's the time of Haidh. So, as for regards to green, فالصحيح أن المرأة woman إذا كان من ذوات الأقراء, she's still experiencing menses. She's not menopausal. She's not menopausal as yet. She's what we, the Arabic word for menopausal is called the Aisa. What's called the Aisa? Aisa means give up hope. So in this context, what does a menopausal woman give up hope of? She gives up hope of getting pregnant. She gives up hope getting shorter. Aisa. So yeah, if a woman is still not menopausal, she's still experiencing haid, then the green that she sees will also be haid, right? Today, وأما الخضرة فالصحيح أن المرأة, the woman إذا كان من ذوات الأقراء, when she's أقراء means haid, the person of haid, تكون حيضا. The green will also be considered. You won't say no, this is green. It's not haid. Haid is red, right? ويحمل على فساد الغذاء. And we just say that perhaps maybe she ate something wrong or something, or she got some thickness. That is why the haid is green, right? وإن كان كبيرة, just interesting مسألة. وإن كان كبيرة, if she was a Aisha already, right? In Shari terms, 55 Islamic years, right? لا ترى غير الخضرة, she does not see besides green, تحمل على فساد المنبت. This will be taken to be upon the corruption or the some illness in her stomach. فلا تكون حيضا, right? It will not be haid. Interesting Messiah. I'll first translate and explain. See, if she was a Aisha and she does not see except green, it will be taken upon the fasad al-mambat. There's some problem fasad in the stomach and not be haid. Okay, so I'll explain this Masad. This is a question we get a lot now. I got this question a lot of times. That after a woman is menopausal, she started bleeding. The answer is actually in the kitab here, but it's not directly in the kitab. So if a menopausal woman starts bleeding a, a odd color, a color in she never used to normally bleed, like green or blue or whatever, some other color, it will not be haze. But if a menopausal woman starts bleeding a color that she used to bleed after being menopause, right? She bleed the color. I want to get it. Okay, time is up here. I will try to find a fatwa tomorrow. We'll discuss that fatwa for you. If she bleeds a normal color that she used to normally bleed in, if I can find quick here, I'll share it with you people, inshallah. Yeah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And this must also comes in basis. There are a lot of people ask this question. If blood flows after the age of 55, and when we speak about Islamic years, right? 55 years, it will only be regarded haid is extremely red or black. If it is yellow, green, or brown, it's not hayd, but it is istihaadha. Istihaadha means it's just like a normal break wudu. However, if yellow, green, or brown used to flow from the woman before she turned 55, then after the age of 50, these colors will also be regarded as hays. Now, so if before she became reached 55 years, né, she used to bleed green or blue or black, whatever, and after 55, after age of 55, she bleeds again green, black, then this is a sign it is hays blood, right? It is hays blood. See there. However, if green or brown used to flow from this woman before she turned 55, then after the age of 55, these colors will also be regarded as hayd. But if it happens contrary to habit, so if she bleeds after 55, not like what you should, different color is not hayd, right? Hence, in the case of menopausal bleeding, after the 55, after the age of 55, lunar years, if a woman experiences absolutely red or black blood, then the bleeding will be regarded as haze menstrual. So if she bleeds after 55 and is a normal color of haze, yes. However, if the blood is yellow, green, or brown colored, it will not be considered haze. It will be considered as istihaadha, and there's a nice word here. Okay, but I never know the English word. Chronic discharge. Remember that English word. You can say chronic discharge, right? Provided she never get this type of blood during her earlier normal years. So if she never gets blood, if she got a different color, right? If she did get this type of blood during her earlier period, then this would also count as high. Example, the blood prior to menopausal age was brownish, and it's also brownish after the menopausal age of after the menopausal age of haid. In such case, it will be considered to be haid. But if the color of the blood is different from that of the blood during her earlier periods, it will not be haid. So I repeat again: if a woman bleeds after the age of 55, right? And it's a color she used to, it's a red, normal color, it will be haze. If it's a different color and she used to get a color before menopause, then haze. But if the color she never get, then we say there, why see there. وإن كانت كبيرة, an elderly lady, and this goes, so yeah, in Shari, you understand, once you hit 55, you're the old lady, you understood that? You understood that? When so yeah, in the kitab you're referring to a 55-year-old as an old lady. But nowadays, what 60 is the new 50, eh? And 70 is the what say 60 is the new 50 and 70 is the new 60. When we were small, if a person is 60 old, you say is an old person. But nowadays, a 60 person is upright, moving around, makeup, lipstick, everything. So in kan kabiratan, if she, according to Sharia, if you hit 55 Islamic years, you are old lady. Right? In kan kabir, she's old. لا ترى غير she does not see except the green. تحمل على فساد المنبت. You say this is not haze, it is a result of some sickness or illness, right? فلا تكون حيضا, not be hayd. Right, we done that. If it's not clear, inshallah, we can say and we can do it again tomorrow. Allah Ta'ala accept. بس سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك الله بحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.